Dear students, in this module, we'll begin with chapter 2 of biology, that is, biological classification. Firstly, we'll talk about Aristotle's classification. Aristotle made the earliest attempt, which was a more scientific basis for the classification of organisms. He classified plants into trees, shrubs, and herbs, and animals into two groups, the ones with red blood and the others which lacked red blood. The organisms possessing red blood included mammals, lizards, birds, and fishes. Blood is red in color because of the presence of hemoglobin pigment, whereas some hard-bodied and soft-bodied organisms like the insects which belong to arthropoda, they lacked red blood. They have hemocoel, that is a cavity which has got hemolymph, which is a colorless fluid. Even the soft-bodied organisms like the shellfish and jellyfish, they lack red blood. Later, two-kingdom system of classification was proposed by Linnaeus in 1758. He classified the organisms basically into two kingdoms, comprising of the kingdom Plantae and the kingdom Animalia. There were few drawbacks of the two-kingdom system of classification. The first one being prokaryotes and eukaryotes were included under plants based on the presence of the cell wall. But there was wide difference in their features. The unicellular and multicellular organisms were also placed in the same group. Example, Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra were put under algae. There was no differentiation done on the basis of mode of nutrition, that is, the heterotrophic fungi and autotrophic green plants. Fungi have a cell wall made up of chitin, whereas the green plants have cellulosic cell wall. So these were the drawbacks of the two-kingdom system of classification. Later, the three-kingdom system of classification was proposed by Ernest Haeckel. Four-kingdom of classification was put forth by Copeland, and later was the presently accepted one, that is the five-kingdom system of classification proposed by Robert H. Whittaker in 1969. He classified organisms basically into monerans, protistans, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Thus, his classification was based on cell structure, thallus organization, the mode of nutrition, reproduction, and the phylogenetic relationship. That is, he traced the evolutionary relationship as well. This system of classification is the most acceptable one. Later, six kingdom system of classification was proposed by Carl Woese, who had suggested a separate kingdom for Archaebacteria that are included in kingdom Monera in Whittaker's five-kingdom system of classification. The characteristics of the various five kingdoms are as follows. They can be seen in the pictorial representation in the flowchart depicted over here. There is difference in the cell type, whether the cell is of a prokaryotic type, that means the primitive nucleus, or the one which have advanced nucleus. The cell wall, whether it is present, and if present, what is the material which composes it, whether it is made up of peptidoglycan, chitin, or is there a protein layer which is present? In case of plants, there is presence of cellulosic cell wall, whereas animals lack a cell wall. The nuclear membrane, whether it is present or absent. The organization of the body, that means whether it is cellular level of organization or the organisms have achieved tissue or organ or the organ system level of organization in case of complex organisms. The mode of nutrition could be autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic comprised of photosynthesis and chemosynthesis, whereas heterotrophic organisms could feed on the host through parasitic mode, saprophytic, or they could be holozoic in nature. So these were the characteristics of the five kingdom and the criterion on which the five kingdom system was proposed by Whittaker. Firstly, talking about the kingdom Monera. The kingdom Monera includes prokaryotic organisms, which includes archaebacteria, eubacteria, cyanobacteria, and mycoplasma. They occur almost everywhere. That means they are cosmopolitan. So bacteria, they are the most abundant microorganisms because they are cosmopolitan. They are found in land, air, water. If we take a handful of soil, hundreds of bacteria are present in it. Some bacteria, they live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snow, and deep oceans, where very few other live forms can survive. They live in extreme habitats as hot springs, so they may be referred to as the halophiles, thermoacidophiles, and many are parasitic in nature where they depend on the host for deriving their nutrition. Bacteria could be classified on the basis of their shape, size, on the basis of flagella, and on the technique of gram staining. On the basis of shape, the bacteria could be either spherical, then they are referred to as cocci. If rod-shaped, they are referred to as bacilli. If comma-shaped, vibrio. And if they have a spiral shape, they are referred to as spirillum. The organisms like the bacteria, that is Streptococcus pneumoniae, it causes pneumonia. And it is cocci in shape. Clostridium tetani, it causes tetanus. Salmonella typhi is responsible for typhoid. Vibrio cholerae causes cholera. So we can see that the bacteria, they have got varied shape. Talking about the kingdom Monera, bacterial structure is very simple, but they are complex in their behavior. Some bacteria are autotrophic or some may have heterotrophic mode of nutrition. As can be seen in the detailed pictorial view of the diagrammatic representation of bacteria, that they have the outermost capsular wall, which is made up of polysaccharide. They've got the cell wall shown in yellow, which is made up of peptidoglycan. They've got the green color depicted plasma membrane. The cytoplasm, that's the site of metabolic activities, is present. The ribosomes are basically involved in the process of protein synthesis. They have plasmids. Plasmids are extrachromosomal genetic material which have structural genes which confer special advantage to the bacteria. The hair-like structures but which are thick and less in number are referred to as pili. If there is presence of sex pili, it facilitates the process of sexual reproduction through conjugation. In bacteria, the DNA is lying naked in the cytoplasm and therefore it is referred to as the nucleoid. That's a characteristic of prokaryotic cell. The locomotory organ in bacteria is a whip-like structure which is referred to as the flagellum. Talking about the classification of kingdom Monera. So Monera, that means the bacterians, they could be further divided into archaebacteria and eubacteria. Archaebacteria are the primitive bacteria. They are special monerans because they can live and thrive in extreme habitats due to their special cell wall structure. Archaebacteria are further subdivided into halophiles, thermoacidophiles, and methanogens, the ones which can thrive in high saline conditions, high temperature and acidic conditions like the hot springs, and the ones which bring about the decomposition. They occur in marshy area and in the gut of ruminants, and they are responsible for the production of methane gas, that is CH4, and therefore they are referred to as methanogens. Eubacteria, that is the true bacteria, it includes the autotrophs and the heterotrophs. Autotrophs could carry out photosynthesis or chemosynthesis, and the heterotrophs could be parasitic or saprophytic in their nature. Firstly, talking about archaebacteria. They live in extreme habitats. They are further subdivided into halophiles, thermoacidophiles, and methanogens. And these methanogens are responsible for the production of methane gas. They are found in the guts of several ruminants, as can be seen over here. The eubacteria, they are unicellular and may occur as colonies. They are true bacteria. They possess a rigid non-cellulosic cell wall made up of peptidoglycan. They could exhibit autotrophic or heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, talking about the eubacteria, that is the photosynthetic autotrophs, cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are also referred to as the blue-green algae. They have the chlorophyll A that is similar to the green plants. They are unicellular colonial, that means they live in colonies. They could be filamentous, the habitat could be marine or could be found in land. Their colonies are basically surrounded by gelatinous sheath and they help to fix atmospheric nitrogen. They've got specialized cells which are referred to as heterocysts, which help in the fixation of nitrogen. The examples of cyanobacteria include Nostoc and Anabaena. There could be chemosynthetic autotrophs in eubacteria. Here they oxidize inorganic substances such as nitrites, nitrates and ammonia and use the released energy for ATP production. These bacteria, they help to recycle nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and sulfur. One example is purple sulfur bacteria, as can be seen in the pictorial representation, green sulfur bacteria or even the iron sulfur bacteria. Talking about the heterotrophic bacteria, they are the most abundant in nature and basically they are the decomposers which help to break down the complex organic substances into simple inorganic one. Moving on to the eubacteria, the heterotrophic bacteria, how do they affect the human affairs? The bacteria, though they have negative impact, but then they have their own utility. They are used to make curd. The bacteria which is used is lactobacillus for the preparation of curd. They use for production of antibiotics. They help to fix nitrogen and they are in symbiotic association with leguminous plants, example rhizobium, though they are pathogenic in nature and cause diseases like cholera, typhoid, tetanus, and even infect the plants. Talking about the reproduction, they generally reproduce by asexual method, that is fission, which is binary fission, which involves the formation of the karyokinesis followed by cytokinesis leading to the formation of two daughter cells. Under unfavorable conditions, even they reproduce by spore formation. The sexual reproduction which is observed in them is through the formation of conjugation tube and the reproduction is referred to as the sexual reproduction. Talking about the mycoplasmas, these are organisms without the cell wall. They are the smallest living cells known. They can survive without oxygen and many are pathogenic in plants and animals. They cause pneumonia in cattle. Talking about kingdom Monera, so we studied about the various groups, that is Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, Cyanobacteria and Mycoplasmas. Hopefully, you must have garnered all the concepts related to the classification systems which were proposed and kingdom Monera thoroughly. Thank you.